Time to get this party started. As you know by now, Android Architecture Components is a set of libraries. Looking at the official documentation, you can see how to add each library, which can include one or more components. For now, we only need room, so we just need to add the relevant dependencies to our build.gradle file and sync. Now, let's open our task entry class. This is a POJO, or plain old Java object. As you can see, it's a very simple class that includes some member variables together with their getters and setters. It also has two different constructors. Our main task here is to turn this into an entity. This is as easy as adding the entity annotation to our class. This way, Room will generate a table called task entry, but that does not seem to be a good name for our table. It is quite common that our Java classes and our database tables do not have the exact same name. The way we can handle that in Room is to optionally assign a specific table name to our entity. In this case, let's use task as the table name associated to our task entry class. Having a look at the member variables, we can see the ID, description, priority, and date. Each of them will match a column in the associated table for this entity. Although it is not our case, sometimes we may want to add to our POJO some extra fields that are not part of the table. When that happens, we need to let Room know by using the ignore annotation. One more requirement from Room is to define a primary key. Our primary key will be the ID of the task, so we just add the primary key annotation to it. With this, the ID field of each entry in our table will be unique. We can handle that uniqueness ourselves, but it will be preferable to get the database to do it for us. To do that, we just need to set its auto-generate value to true. We are mostly done for now. Our class is now an entity that is associated with a table called task. This table will contain different columns, including an auto-generated ID, which will be the primary key. Finally, one of the limitations of Room is that it can only use one constructor, and we have two. As you can see, the difference between them is that the second one includes the ID, our primary key, as an extra parameter. The reason to have two constructors is simple. In order to add a new task to the database, we need to create a task entry object, but there is no way to easily know the ID that it will have. Remember that the ID will be auto-generated by the database once we add a new entry. Because of this, we will need to use the first constructor. When reading from the database, each entry will already have an ID, so Room will use the second constructor to create task entry objects. To let Room know that it has to use the second constructor, we just need to add the ignore annotation to the first one.